Hello folks, some of you have requested that I walk you through my schematic wiring diagram I developed for the control box of my electrified snowblower for my DGT 6000 Craftsman tractor that you've seen on previous videos on my YouTube channel called F Massimi. So I'm going to give you, I apologize for the crude nature of the video, this is all I have to work with at the moment. I'm just going to give you a quick description of each group, of each area on the schematic and the components, and then walk you through as to how it actually works. So basically what you have here is the switch. This is one of the three hard switches that you see on the control box that allows you to set any one of the linear actuators or the windshield wiper motor in the up or down position, or the left or right for the chute direction. This is a Radio Shack LED light, the red ones that you see in the control box. You have two relays right here. You have the push buttons. These are the push buttons that you see again on the control panel that allow me to do incremental movements of the motors. Then you have everything goes to a connector that goes essentially to the front of the tractor itself, and then this whole section right here is what's located on the snowblower within that black box. So again, you have the connector that picks up these lines, and you have two relays down here. So what goes to the snowblower is actually a connector with the control signal wires for the relays, and also that big power connector that you saw there with the blue and red connector that provides me plus or minus 12 volts to the snowblower itself. So that's where it comes in from. Two, you have the relays, and then you have connectors that go to the end of run switches through a connector on both sides, and so these would be the buttons that are normally closed that tell the motors when to stop turning in case they go to the end of the run. So this would be a motor, which is any one of the three linear actuators, and then again the other push button for the end of run. So this whole circuit here that you see is just for one of the three motors, whether it's an actuator or the windshield wiper motor. They're all motors. So I'm going to zoom in now and just go to each section at a time. So again, starting from here, this is the three-way switch that you see here. Normally it is open in a center position, fixed, which means that it is normally off, and then you can set it and it will stay in the on position in either direction. So let's assume I'm talking about the up-down motion for the snowblower. When you turn it in this position, it would go up. When you turn it in that position, it would go down. Anytime you flip this switch or push this button, and I'll get to that in a little bit, this light bulb goes off, which is again the red LED that you see on the control box, which comes from Radio Shack. It's nice because it's nice and compact, and it's already got its resistor in line, so you just plug it into 12 volts and it works. So the idea was to have the hard switch and the push button in parallel with the switch. The problem is that if you are trying to put the snowblower in the up position and you happen by mistake to push the button for the down position, you would end up with a short on your motor, short on your battery, because you are effectively providing plus or minus volts, plus or minus 12 volts to the motor in a certain direction for the up position, and at the same time plus or minus 12 volts in the opposite direction in order to reverse the position. And clearly that will cause a short on your battery. So this circuit here provides a safety protection, disabling the opposite push button. What I mean by this is that if I'm lifting the snowblower, I'm actually disabling the button for the down position. So the way this works is effectively I have 12 volts here. When I close the circuit, I am providing 12 volts to this coil. The other side is already grounded, so this coil has a switch that is connected to my push button in the normally closed position. When I energize this coil, this switch opens, effectively disabling this push button. And as you can see, this button is connected to the other side of the switch, which would be the other direction of the motor. So effectively this each one of these push buttons is connected in parallel to the switch, but through this relay, which is normally closed, so it's always there, so that if I don't actuate this switch, I can actuate either one of these push buttons, but if I do actuate this switch, then it disables the opposite direction. Hopefully that's clear. Now, so from here I pick up my signals that can come, again, either from the switch or the push button. And this is what goes out to the front of the tractor. So this wire runs the length of the tractor inside the engine bay, and it goes to the front of the tractor into a connector. Additionally, what is not shown here is another connector that you see on the other video, on the YouTube video, that has the blue and red connector ends. That's actually plus to minus 12 volts. That also goes to the blower, as you can see from here. You need that in order to be able to provide power to the snowblower itself, which was the point behind all this, in order to provide power as close as possible to the actual source, to the load, which is, again, the motors. So signal wires go down here, and what they do, let me zoom in here now, and so effectively what they do is when I flip the switch in a certain direction, I'm energizing this coil, which is closing these two circuits here, which are providing plus 12 volts and minus 12 volts in a specific direction to my motor, which is right here. Okay? And at the same time, these are the relay coils are grounded through these push buttons that are normally closed. So these are my end of run buttons, which if the motor, if the actuator was at the end of its run in a certain position, again up or down in this case, then I am physically disconnecting this switch, which means that I'm opening the circuit, which means that the relay isn't grounded and it will not fire up. So you'll notice that this is the relay for one direction, so I have plus 12 volts and minus 12 volts right here. And this is the relay for the opposite direction, which you'll notice has ground and 12 volts flipped, so that I am effectively reversing the polarity on the same motor. Okay, so again, this is this whole thing is both the switch, push buttons, and the protection circuit for the push buttons, and the relays that actually actuate the motor and the end of run switches. This whole circuit is just for one control, one load, so one linear actuator or the windshield wiper motor for the direction of the chute. I hope that this brief explanation is clear enough, and again I apologize for the quality of the video. Obviously you need to have some basic understanding of electrical stuff and wiring in order to really be able to pick up on this. If not, I would recommend you don't do this because it's probably too complicated for you then. Hope this helps. Thank you.